So, yeah, man, next subject, man. Next topic for the night and the last topic for the night. How we doing out there? Chat. We'll talk about Coach Prime, man. Coach Prime, what he's up to, man. And, Coach Prime, he ruffled some feathers talking about recruiting cornerbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people didn't really agree, you know what I mean? But I see Coach Prime, obviously got people in their feelings when it's Coach Prime. Coach Prime say something, it goes viral all of a sudden, and he doesn't want to recruit cornerbacks under 5'11". But guys, this isn't nothing new. This has always been around in the NFL and football, period, since I made it to the NFL. Recruiting smaller cornerbacks has always been a no-no because you don't want the receivers to have a size advantage.
Mm-hmm.
When I was coming out, like I said, I was considered a smaller cornerback. But I had that film. That film was straight dog material. You understand what I'm saying? And yeah, that's what got me to the NFL because coaches saw that dog in me. You could be 6'3", you could be 5'9". If you got that dog in you, coaches is going to see. Right? And there's always an exception to the rule. And I'm sure there's an exception to Coach Prime rule. If he sees a cornerback 5'10", 5'9", that's absolutely a dog, one that has ball skills, he could play with any type of receivers, no matter the height or the size. I'm sure Coach Prime would want that player on his team.
Thanks.
But in all reality, in all actuality, if the ultimate goal is to make it to the NFL, and the NFL are looking for cornerbacks that are 6'2" or better, and they very rarely recruit 5'11" or cornerback shorter than 5'11". Why would you bring him to your team? Why? And that's the absolute dog. Let's listen to Coach Prime.
Recruiting guys in your image, and that's what it seemed like you've done in the defensive backfield. You see a lot of 6'1" corners.
Yeah, I don't like 5'11". 5'11" is mine. That's it. I can't go no shorter than that. Yeah. Unless they walk on, and I want to give them a chance if they walk on. But there's not an initial investment, but they could be if they prove themselves. Mm-hmm. But that's my cutoff because I know the NFL. NFL is not drafting someone on that island.
Exactly.
Short of the play outside, maybe to play slot. And I wish they would draft more slot corners. They don't do that till late. And I don't understand that because now in the NFL, you got a $20 million receiver playing against a free agent in the slot. That don't make no sense whatsoever because they don't value the slots. And the slots, they're very valuable in college football as well as the NFL.
Now understand, he said he doesn't recruit. That means I'm not going to take time out of my recruiting schedule to go visit this 5'11" or 5'10" cornerback. Now, on the other hand, if I call Coach Prime, someone from down here in South Florida, someone in Texas call Coach Prime, or this cornerback is 5'10" and he's a 5-star recruit, and he sees the film and he's an absolute dog, you don't think Coach Prime is going to go visit that young man? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take someone's words and just run with it. There's always an exception to all the rules. You know what I mean? And I think Coach Prime, he says a lot of things that is taken out of context because he's a vocal guy, and he want to be transparent in every way, and that's how he roll. But a lot of things he says get taken out of context. My son is 5'9", barely 5'10". My Coach Prime and my son, they had a lot of spent a lot of time together in the camps and things like that. He knew my son was a dog right off the rip. So if my son was coming out right now, I 100% believe, he probably would try to recruit him. So that's just how I feel.
It's funny. Like what he was saying was like true, honestly, because when you called me, I was actually looking up like the top corners in NFL, all their heights, and everybody was 5'11" or taller.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you, bro. Bro, when I first started this podcast and I used to go out and interview people, different NFL players in their town and the city and things, like everybody that I see, I was looking at them like, Y'all are that much bigger than me. I played with y'all against y'all in NFL. This how big cornerbacks are now. Like, it's ridiculous, man. People are actually extra large out there on the football
and
field.
another true statement he said in there. He was like, teams not recruiting slot corners. The Eagles recorded. They're not drafting slot corners. The Eagles drafted Cooper DeJean to be a slot corner in the second round, and this year he all pro. So
That's the only team, the Philadelphia Eagles. They have a history of doing that since Bobby Taylor, Troy Vincent, and Al Harris. They always carried that tradition of having 3 cornerbacks, and then after that, that 3 left, and you had Sheldon Brown, Lito Shepherd, along with I forget who was in the slot, but they always carried that tradition of having 3 cornerbacks. That's how the Philadelphia Eagles thrive, man. That's how the Philadelphia Eagles thrive. You know. So yeah, man, don't take Coach Prime, his statement and run with it. You know, that's just the outlook of everything. When we set out our recruiting possibilities and things like that, we're not picking 5'10" and 5'9" to go. Yeah, we might miss out on a player here and there. Yeah, but when you stay consistent in your formula, everything comes together. Now, still talking about Coach Prime. Now we want to do the comparison. Now they want to compare Coach Prime. They're always bringing up Coach Prime name to try to compare him with someone just for entertainment, I guess, And just think about this, right? I want y'all to think about it like this. Don't always look at names, because names can throw you off sometimes. You hear a name and that name has so much popularity that you automatically go with it, right? And, one cornerback. So people continue to compare cornerbacks and want to say that one is the greatest ever and the other is all these type of things. So I want y'all to do this. One cornerback has a total of 29 career interceptions. The other cornerback has 54 career interceptions. Is it close? Who is better? Can it even possibly be close to who is better? It's just not possible for the cornerback that has 29 interceptions to be better than the cornerback with 54 interceptions under normal circumstances. Now, if the cornerback with 54 interceptions, he gives up a 100-yard game every game, yes, that's not normal circumstances. He probably shouldn't be starting. So under normal circumstances. I mean, people, even ex-players, not only just normal people, even ex-players try to compare Deion Sanders and Coach Prime, Deion Sanders and Darrelle Revis, and try to make up every excuse besides production of why Darrelle Revis can possibly be better, which makes no sense. Let's check it out.
These dudes is different. Deion was Deion. He carved his own lane. I'm telling you right now, Onk, if you played against Darrelle Revis.
So were you trying to say Revis was better than Deion?
Let's go through the era. Let's go through the era.
Wait, I ain't even mean to.
I'll say that. Hold on.
Are you trying to say Darrelle Revis was better than Deion? Are you trying to say Darrelle Revis was better than? You trying to say
Darrelle Revis? From a technique standpoint, I put Darrelle Revis over the playmaker. Prime time. Yes. Now, from playmaking ability,
no way,
he's different. Let me tell you why. Oh,
I can't.
From a technique standpoint.
Go ahead. Go.
No. Listen.
I can't even.
Listen to this. This era.
Mike
Darrelle
ain't trying to hear
Revis.
none of this.
Okay, you talk about wide receivers. Darrelle Revis. There's a time, and we can probably find this this image where you list all the top wide receivers in the game. Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, Reggie Wayne, Chad Ochocinco, and you go on and on. And none of these guys went over 100 yards.
See, and that's what they can do. When you want to shy away from the facts, now you have to hype things up to create that best player. Terrell on. All those players were late in their career. Who was in their prime? What receiver in their prime? And where is the production? But let's get back to the point, right? Because Brandon Marshall says, from a technique standpoint, Darrelle Revis is better than Deion Sanders. What kind of statement is that? There's a lot of people that's better than such and such and whoever in technique. What does that prove?
Man.
For that matter, I would say Patrick Surtain has better technique than Darrelle Revis. Lil Pat has him beat in that category. Patrick Surtain in press coverage is superb. His size alone helps him be superb. And he has the most patience I ever seen out of every cornerback, out of any cornerback. He gets his hands on a receiver mostly every time he's in press coverage, more than any other cornerback I've seen. So if you want to talk about techniques, we could say Patrick Surtain technique is better than Darrelle Revis. But what is that saying? You understand? You're just trying to use Deion's name to create some noise. No, man. You can never compare a cornerback who has 54 interceptions to a cornerback who has 29 interceptions. Where they do that at? I get it. The media and everyone, makes cornerbacks and creates the marketing to make things look bigger than life, like they was doing with Sauce Gardner, until we had to build this platform and let them know what it is. They can't get away with this anymore. But yeah, go ahead, Dries. Talk to me.
I was thinking it might be a little bit of Brandon Marshall went up against Darrelle Revis. He never went up against Primetime,
Yeah.
And Michael Irvin, he went up against Primetime. So Michael Irvin no, I went against Primetime like that. And Brandon Marshall trying to say I went against Darrelle Revis. I already know what he do. So it kind of could be like a little bit biased because they went against these players as well too. That could play a part of it.
No, you're 100% right. And I was telling Shady McCoy that the other day, man. I was like, yes, what Darrelle Revis did to Brandon Marshall, he better say he's the best. How he manhandled, dogged him out, had an interception for 100 yards plus on him, put his hands on him. Of course, Brandon Marshall doesn't have a choice but to say that he's the best and he's the dog or whatever. Because to him, he couldn't do nothing. So, yeah, I get it, But when you start trying to say technique, bro, there's 29 total interceptions in a career. That's not a comparison. You can't compare that. Now, we can get into past breakups and how many times you took the ball to the house, and we can keep going. But it's like, I don't know, man. It's all good. It's all good. But if we want to talk about technique, I can pick other cornerbacks that have superb technique as well. But that isn't saying too much of anything,
Right.
So I think we got to stop using Deion. Like, if a player wants to compare themselves player to Deion, because we play sports to be competitive. So any player has any right to try to compare themselves and try to match up the numbers or state their case why they think they may be better. But for other people just to be, and that's, cornerback is such a tricky position. Because that's one position where they try to stay away from the stats and create the narrative of who is the best. And that's how they try to talk about cornerbacks.